What if I told you you could get the perfect loaf of bread with zero effort and using a slow cooker? I know, I was not a believer either. I was skeptical at first, but I came across this recipe and I gotta tell you, I have learned from this recipe, I've learned from this experience, and I'm here to share with you 5 shocking reasons why it is the best secret to amazing homemade bread. So let's get into it. Hey, welcome back. So today's recipe, or the recipe used in today's video, comes from Brooklyn Farm Girl. I'll leave a link to her recipe in the description below the video. And yeah, welcome back. So before we get into all of the things I learned, or at least my 5 key takeaways of what I learned using a slow cooker to bake bread, I'll walk you through the recipe first. Let's go through the steps on how to get this bread into the slow cooker. So let's start with that. I start with pouring warm water in a large bowl, and to that water I add sugar. Now, I made the mistake you'll see in this video. I didn't really allow time for the sugar to dissolve, so make sure you let the sugar dissolve in the water first and then add your dry yeast and stir it up. You want to let that sit for about 10 minutes until it gets foamy. Next to that, I'm going to add, once it's set and it's gotten a little foamy, I'm going to add the salt and I'm going to stir to dissolve that. Now the recipe calls for vegetable oil, but I use olive oil. For this recipe, I would have probably preferred to use extra virgin olive oil, but I didn't have enough in my cupboard, so we're using just regular light olive oil. Once that's stirred up, I added the 3 cups of all-purpose flour and mixed that until combined. And I kneaded that for about 5 minutes to form a round ball. Now, after that's all done, I placed the dough in an oil-coated bowl, which is what I did last. I didn't have any plastic wrap, but I covered it with a clean dish towel. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a towel that didn't have holes in it. I don't know why, but it was clean, so covered it with that, and I let it sit for about 30 minutes to rise to at least double in size. One of the things I wanted to share with you though is that you can choose to put it in the slow cooker before the 30 minutes is up. Just let it sit there for 30 minutes before you turn it on. It's the same purpose. It's still gonna sit there and it's gonna rise. So you wanna cut a piece of parchment paper and place in the bottom of the slow cooker. Brooklyn Farm Girl recommended that I spray the bottom of the slow cooker. I didn't. I sprayed the parchment paper, so that's what she said. Okay, I got that right. Spray the parchment paper and then put the bread or the dough in the parchment paper, and then I sprinkled it with rosemary. Put it into the slow cooker, and I'm gonna cook it on high for 2 hours. So I started out with explaining the 5 reasons why I think it's the best bread you could possibly bake using your slow cooker. So reason number 1, it's seriously convenient and almost hands off. So by that I mean traditional bread takes a lot of steps. I'm not a baker. I couldn't possibly tell you how to bake bread from scratch. I'm still learning that. So when I found this recipe, that was one of the best, an ideal way for me to even enter into the baking field was to start with a recipe like this. So very convenient, very easy. You mix the ingredients and you just walk away. Who remembers? Do you remember that commercial? I think it was in the 80s that those ladies would put something in a cooker and they would just sing the song, "Walk away, walk away." If I find it, I'm going to share it. Anyway, you get the point. You set it and forget it. Okay, reason number 2, it frees up your oven for everything else. So reason number 2 is, what if you're cooking a big dinner and you have casseroles in the oven or a roast or something, stuff going on? It frees the space of your oven. That slow cooker can just sit off to the side, conveniently, happily on your countertop, baking away, not in anyone's way, leaving your oven open for everything else. You know, think of like a big Sunday dinner or Thanksgiving dinner or something like that. So, by the way, if you're loving these tips as much as I am, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I dare ya. Okay, reason number 3. Did I say 3 the first reason? I don't know what I said. But reason number 3, shockingly, this is energy efficient. So this is a huge one. A standard oven, and I'm reading my notes because I don't know this by heart, by the way, but a standard oven can use 2,000 watts of energy, while a slow cooker can use less than 300. So that means it can be up to 90% more efficient, saving you real money on your energy bill, as energy bills will rise. So this is a budget-friendly way to bake. Reason number 4, super simple ingredients and no gear. So literally you saw the ingredients I used and you saw the gear. All I needed was a slow cooker, a bowl, parchment paper, and something to mix it up. It's just super simple. The pantry staples are pretty much in everyone's pantry or anyone's supply. It's flour, water, yeast, and salt, and sugar. That's all. So it's also very forgiving. This recipe is very forgiving and very easy to use. Again, thank you, Brooklyn Farm Girl, for that. But it takes the fear out of baking, I think. I think it was really easy for me to jump into this one. And then reason number 5, the final reason, is a cooler kitchen. Man, summer is upon us. We just got our AC fixed. I don't know if you noticed, I had been away for a while. You might not have noticed, and that's okay, but the AC went out and we just got it fixed. We have a lot of projects going on in the home, a lot of things we want to get done. but I wanted to bake bread. I wanted to have more control on what's coming into our kitchen, what we're eating, what we're consuming. But how do you do that in the summer? That was like number 5 is the best reason of all, is that it keeps your kitchen cool. The heat will be contained in your slow cooker. Everyone knows, like, you don't turn on your oven during the summer, even with the air on. Why would you use your oven? So plus the slow cooker traps the moisture, so it traps the moisture around the bread, steaming the bread, so it's going to make a really good bread. It creates a soft and moist texture in the bread. One of the things that you might notice in this recipe is you're not going to get that crispy top coating that you will get in an oven. But there is a tip for that that I can show you later. I might not do it though, so if I don't show you, here's what it means is that you take the bread out when it's done and you put it under the broiler for about 1 to 3 minutes. You watch it very carefully, or a minute or 2, I guess is what she recommended. You'll still get that golden crust, but you want to watch it and watch it carefully, and that's how you get your golden crust on top. I'm going to choose not to do that for this particular recipe. 1, because I don't want to turn on my oven, but 2, my goal is I'm going to probably use this bread for my toast bread. I love toast in the morning. I eat it every day. So this is probably going to be something that doesn't bother me if it has a kind of a beigey or bland top. I'm okay with that because I'm going to slice it up and toast it anyway, so that's fine. So anyways, those are my 5 reasons. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take the bread out. It grew a lot. Okay, let me show you. It says it's done. Well, it's baked for 2 hours. But it's grown a lot. Oh, and that rosemary, it smells like Thanksgiving. It grew. It grew a lot. I think it's done, but I'm gonna use a temperature gauge. So I saw Emmy made video. She said your bread should be 190. I think so. I think that's what she said. So I'm gonna see what this is. Okay. Should be done because the top was pretty bouncy. Still climbing. It came out clean. Now I have a big hole in my bread. No, I think I'm gonna leave it out. I think it's good. I think we're okay. Let's turn this over. So look at that. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let it rest before I slice it up. It's just gonna rest. Now, you can put this under your broiler at this point. Brooklyn Farm Girl says to brush it with butter and put it in the broiler. I'm not gonna do that though because I like to slice it up and toast it like I mentioned earlier. So I'm gonna leave my bread like this. But at this point, you'd wanna brush it with some melted butter and put it under the broiler to get the top nice and golden brown. But there you go. Just ignore that. But yeah, there you go. There's the bread. And it didn't stick to the paper. And let me turn this off. The crock pot is completely clean. Yeah, there you go. Crock pot or slow cooker bread. Okay, so there you have it. It's convenient, it frees up your oven, it saves energy, requires no special gear, gives you a perfectly moist loaf with a simple trick to get a crispy crust if you choose to do so. Also, I forgot to mention the rosemary in this recipe is optional. I think next time I make it, I might even experiment with putting the rosemary in the dough, because I love like an herb flavored bread. So I might experiment with that. But this method really made me kind of love baking again, and it really made me feel so much better knowing that I have more control over a healthy loaf of bread coming into my kitchen, because that's also really important to me. The health of a recipe that you're making homemade food at home, and the cost of the food itself. It's just going to cost a mere $1 or so of ingredients versus, you know, upwards of like $7 or $8 if you want a healthy loaf of bread from the store. So it's really convenient and energy efficient and cost saving, in my opinion. But now I want to hear from you. Have you ever started, or have you ever tried baking in a slow cooker? And if so, what did you bake? I would love to hear. Put it in the comments. I'd love to hear it, because that's what helps, you know, your stories help this community grow and helps us learn. So I want to hear from you. Put your comments, oh my gosh. I want to hear from you. Please come back and tell me if you made this recipe. I want to hear from you. I want to hear all about it. Thank you so much for watching. Obviously, I'm done for the day. I think the heat's gotten to me finally. I hope wherever you are feeling safe and loved, and I hope to see you again on the next video. So until then, take care. Bye.